July 25th, 2024, a year that's going to live in history, Holy. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so I was starting to throw the line out there a bit more with my intentions, which is I would love to get special needs and homeless people, put them to work and get them homes and secure, safe and secure, and all that sort of thing. Um, but that's further down the road, because it's going to take time. It's going to take time for us to put together the program, the internship programs, because I can do, if they want to be a webmaster, fine. If they want to be a IT hardware guy, fine. If they want to be a um, database administrator, fine. Um, that's maybe a good example. Yeah, sure, we need data people, but and I've done plenty of that at expert level. One of my certifications was Microsoft SQL Server DBA, and I've filled that role at companies before. Um, but again, been there, done that. That's fun for me. What about fun and joy? I can have better fun somewhere else. I would let somebody else do that. I can mentor and guide, but I don't want to do it myself. And that's a big part of the company overall, being a holistic company. We need to understand the support groups like IT and HR and legal eagles and the financial stuff. We need to respect them. Oh well, all workers are treated like royalty in Green Terra Mer, which owns Unicorn Mint LLC. Um, yeah, and there's such a glut of digital marketers now, consultants. Well, I still have my LLC, lead gen magic, but I'm not going to do the work myself. I've invested thousands of dollars. I own some pretty good resources. And it primarily, I can sum up what it is probably what most people mean by digital marketing. Um, I mean, it's still a lucrative business, can be 10, 20,000 a month. Did you hear that? 10, 20,000 a month when I'm talking millions? So what if we don't get a million on a minting? The potential is there. See, that was one of those difficult things, way back when I started doing computer consulting and stuff. The money can be good, but you only have so much time. Well, of course, now we get into outsourcing, and there used to be this thing about getting the specs from the stakeholders, from the user, and then when you go home, send it to somebody in India that programs it, does the programming work, which at that time was a big part of being a consultant, and they ship it to you at the end of their workday, and you wake up the next day and you've got the deliverable right there to take into your client. That was considered pretty cool. Um, yeah, we're talking pre what most people would call internet, because there's actually two internets, right? There's the DARPA one that's been around since like 1977, and then there's the AT&T commercial one. So So yeah, that's why I say I'm looking for project managers, because we can outsource a lot of the work, most of all the work. Um, and AI tools now, there's no intelligence in AI. It's not what it's smoke and mirrors. It's not what people thinks it is. But that doesn't mean it's not an extremely powerful tool. So I expect our workers to utilize AI when appropriate. But yeah, don't expect AI. You turnkey and you download this, send it out there, and now you're rich. No, it's a tool. It's not the be all and end all. Never has been. So, what do you want to talk about? How you're going to get paid? Yeah, I probably should focus more and more on that because it's the enabler. Um, More and more, I come back to it lately, the last few days. I don't want employees. I don't want wage slaves. I don't. I don't. I won't get into careers. I'm not sure what to do with that word. But amongst all this other stuff, I'm also developing a knowledge server because it doesn't currently exist, and that could be very not only for our own use because knowledge is power, especially when you're looking for the sweet spots, but we could very easily make our knowledge server machine into an oracle. It's being called oracles. Um, which is if we not only if we can generate and create knowledge, um, does it put us in a very powerful position for whatever line of business we're doing? But that can be sold. We can make our own and I'm going to make my own protocol. We're going to have our own main net eventually. We'll be layer one, as they call it. Eventually, baby steps, stepping stones. I tend to act in terms of stepping stones. Anyhow, so protocols. How are you gonna get paid as an investor? See, that's the thing. You're not waiting for an IPO or even an ICO and say, okay, well, I'm putting in the work now, but 5, 10 years from now, the stock that I own will be worth a lot, and that's how I get rich. Yeah, that's kind of 20th century thinking. Um, no, and it's not about, well, like, okay, well, this company may be viable, it may not be growing incredibly at a big value, but they pay dividends. I get dividends. Of course, dividends as an investor usually are very like again with this Web3 stuff, we're looking for like 10x, 20x, 200x, that kind of returns. So a little bit of dividends. I Suffice to say, I would not put my assets in that. A couple years ago, I pretty much liquidated my stock portfolio and never looked back. Um, yeah, I don't believe in 20th century companies. They're too abusive. They're too evil, if you will. They're too greedy. And inherently just in the system, it makes it overly specialized and too greedy. And I've heard this like from people that have worked at Apple that I done IT work for and stuff. Uh, Apple, I guess, is a horrible corporate culture. It's constantly, what have you done for us lately? And a lot of backstabbing and just horrible corporate culture. No, I don't want to be like Apple. I don't want to be like Microsoft. I don't want to be like any other company, really. Can I think of any company I'd want to be like? Well, Marmot, but Marmot's not around anymore. There's an extreme outlier, maybe. Thinking of business plans, ones that I would no longer do myself, but maybe we would support and enable uh, others to do it, which is forestry work. I'm sure the opportunities are still there. I'm sure the I'm sure the Forest Service is still there, and I'm sure they're still putting out for requests for proposals or bids on doing like tree planting and stuff. If we got people that's what they want to do, we could structure an LLC and get that operation going. And no, we won't touch the profitability of other stuff we're doing, but if you want to do, I mean, that's what drives all this. See, part of the fun for me. I don't know who's going to show up, but if somebody my work is to match them to the work they're meant to do. And so my work is fitting them to the work we can set them up to do, for mutual benefit. We're not a charity. We're not a foundation. We're for profit. Um, Although, if you haven't heard me mention that yet, that is part of the monetization on our NFTs that we create in our smart contracts. I I want to splinter off a portion for a selected charity, a sponsored charity, somebody we want to help support. And when we start refining and building our marketing and branding, that can be incredibly powerful. Like in my days of selling on eBay, uh, and I used to do it. You when you do your listing, you could select a charity that has registered with them and say, "Yeah, I want this listing. 10% is going to go to that charity." And eBay would handle it for you and make it easy for you to do that. But the idea is, marketing wise, uh, your listing would say, 10% of this goes to charity, and maybe even say what charity. And so people might actually buy your product because they want to support that charity. So it's one of the entrepreneurial marketing tricks you can use anyhow. Just anyhow. We're not inventing anything new. Uh, but that would be worth it to scrape off a certain amount. And what it fulfills our vision of compassion, but also um, builds our goodwill and our brand and things like that. So it's win-win for us. And you want to know what? That's part of billionaire mind. Billionaire thinks in terms of win-win. Now, usually I follow that with that is, you win, I win. Lesser spoken part is, you lose, I win. Win win. But although we may not say, well, we'll be liable if you lose, that's okay, you're covered. Fuck that, what the heck. Our intention certainly is that you won't lose. So we want to have a reputation. Hey, you go with Unicorn Mint and you're going to win. They've got the reputation, they've got the history, they've got the experience, they've got the history in a genre or market that's very scarce. So trust and authority. If we deepen the trust of people that interact with us enough, they will give us authority too, which empowers us for a whole bunch of stuff. It's really quite exciting. Yeah. Do you hand flap? My autistic son tends to hand flap. Um,